Hello, everybody. I'm going to do this technically as part of our Easter tutorials, but you can use this for 1,000 other things. This is only the beginning. All right, all it really is a pair of cubes connected together. All right, and ignore the little legs at the bottom; they're going to get popped off. What this really is, focus on just the top. It's building blocks. It's a cube. All right. In fact, true story. Years ago, I had somebody at a National Night Out event ask me for a cube. All right, so I made him a cube, and there he goes, and he was happy. And ta-da! You can use this for constructing all sorts of things. You've probably seen pictures of people doing birthday parties where they make like a big number one. Well, you're building it out of these construction blocks. True story. Years ago, I did this at a kid's party where the kid wanted to be Bumblebee. This is back when Transformers were hot. All right, so this was the forearm of Bumblebee. We made him two forearms, and same thing for his legs. We made a hat. Okay, and he thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Anyway, this in the real world will eventually turn into a Christian cross. I'm going to put round balloons in here, each of these, and I'm going to write on it the letters JESUS going down, and on the bar across, because you can add them horizontally as well, RISEN, because that's the whole purpose of, or the message of Easter. Jesus is risen. Now, to do that, we first need to know how to make one of these blocks. To make one of these blocks, I'm going to use 4 260 Qs, inflated, leaving 4 fingers or so. Normally, I would do one color. I just grabbed some random for the purpose of the illustration. But again, if you want to do that, okay, if you want to have a multicolored thing, go ahead and go for it. Depends on what you're doing. I wouldn't do that for Bumblebee because he's supposed to be yellow, but I might do it for other things. Anyway, the basic construction is fairly simple. We're going to measure about 5 fingers and then make a little bubble twist. So there's nothing new or shocking there. And once we've done that, we set it aside and do it 3 more times. Because that is going to be one corner of our little cube. And 5 fingers and bubble. And if you're doing this in front of kids, and again, I would not do this for line work. The only exception would be like the young man who wanted a cube. It's going to take too long. And always burp your bubbles like I just did. Squeeze air into that tail so it doesn't pop on us. 5 fingers. Bubble twist. And burp the bubble. Squeeze. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. Come here, 4. All right, and last but not least, 5 fingers, bubble twist. All right, and these are our components we're going to make into our building block. All right, so we have 2. We're going to take the nozzle of one, tie it into the bubble of the other. Ta-da! Then we're going to grab the third, do the same, nozzle into the bubble. And don't you hate it when that happens? I do too. So I get for using these cheap balloons for my demonstration. Give me a moment, and we will rebuild our missing piece there. Now, if I were doing this in front of a crowd, you'd play it for humor. Something I said before is one of my favorites, a line I just used last week, is, did you see that low-flying hummingbird come through just now? That guy really hates me. But we'll grab a different balloon. Hopefully it's better quality. What am I doing? I'm going to be doing a lot of balloons at an Easter event at Central Church this weekend. So for anybody in the Vegas area who wants to come by and actually see me, feel free. It's at Central Church. Anyway, we'll make up for our popped piece there. Hopefully this one won't pop on us. And bubble twist, same as the others. Okay, so we have our first 3. We'll just do our 4th. Same thing, we're going to tie our nozzle into the bubble. once or twice, whatever makes you happy. And then we come back to our starting point, and we'll take that nozzle into the remaining bubble. And like, yay. It's a very sad jellyfish. No, it's not. But to finish the cube, we're going to do the exact same thing going down. Again, 5 fingers, bubble, twist. And you do it 3 more times. Because when we're done with that, we're going to tie them across just the same. And if I'm not saying it enough, I am doing a burp of the bubbles, squeezing airs as I twist, not tweezing airs as I twist, into the tail. That's why we have the tail. We don't want these things to pop. So 5 fingers, bubble. All right. Okay, the top of the cube, it looks the same. And, you know, if it's a jellyfish, it's a very sad jellyfish. But we're going to do the same thing. Measure 5, tie it into these bubbles, so we'll actually get our cube. All right? So 5 fingers, and no, there's nothing sacred about 5 fingers. If you want it smaller or larger, make it bigger. Just be consistent. Unless you're trying to do rectangles or whatever. Don't ask about dodecahedrons. Anyway. So, 1. And then we'll squeeze that, come across, to do 2, get done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we're not making bubbles, we're just connecting it to the existing bubbles in our tank. Right. And because we're using different colors, it's easy to see who's who. If I were doing these all the same colors, I have this tendency where I'll accidentally grab one of the shorter pieces and so on. But multicolored is not a problem. Anyway, or if I pay attention to what I'm doing instead of talking like I have to as I'm doing tutorials. All right. And we're going on our last piece and burp that bubble. Measure 5 fingers. Wake up the computer. Tie it around the last bubble. Okay. And then we have our cube. Now, if we were making the cube for the young man, we just pop off the remaining pieces and we're done. But we're not. Remember how we started? We're going to do a second the exact same way. We're simply going to count down 5, bubble, and do that 4 times, and we'll connect them all. And yes, it's boring. That's why I would not do this for line work. A, it takes too long, and B, it's like watching dust settle. Or paint dry, or whatever your favorite thing would be. Anyhow. That's almost everybody. And we have 1 long piece left, and we'll do the same here. 5 bubble twist. And then we can connect them just like we did the first story, so to speak. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually about right. And connect. And when we're done, we're going to have a bunch of little odd legs that we're going to pop off and get rid of. Don't throw them away, though. I'll explain why in just a moment. But 5 fingers. And next to last, 5 fingers. And I hate it when that happens with fierce passion. But since we're doing this, we actually have a spear here. Just use one of our long legs for this. And when I'm done, I'll take a scissors and pop off this little extra piece. I don't want to accidentally pop too much, as I might with my fingers. Anyway, and as every balloon twister knows, pops happen. We don't like it, but it's true. And we're going to take our last All we have is a nozzle here, but that's okay. Now we're going to tie that into our last piece. All right. Now, as I say, I'll have to take a scissors and get rid of this. But other than that, it's a two-story version of what we had. And because I'm being quick, some of the sides aren't exactly equal, and they should be. You want them to be equal. You want them to look nice. Now, I said we want to get rid of these extra legs, but don't throw them away. Here's why. Remember this? In fact, we'll use this guy instead. I'm going to pop off his 4 legs. Tie them off to be safe. And then I'm going to use those to tie to our next 2 stories, so to speak. So, sometimes we get a little bubble. I was warned the kids can be a loud popping sound if I'm doing this in front of an audience. It's not always that way, but it's a good way to bet. Anyhow. And 2 to go. More popping sound. And tie that off, and 1 to go. Now, if something goes wrong, like for example, I lost a leg on my other one, all right, that's fine. If you're like me, you keep a little bowl of scraps of things, all right? Things that are long enough to be useful, not tiny little pieces, but yeah, you might actually do something with it. Come on, popping sound. All right, so we have our first 2 stories. All right, and now we've tied off the pieces. All right, let's go. And of course, Murphy's Law is in full effect at all times, so 1 double thread is good. Everyone probably knows Murphy's Law, that anything can go wrong will. O'Toole's corollary is Murphy was an optimist. All right, so we have our 2 stories. We have our additional 2 stories that we made. We can take these little pieces we just tied off and use them to attach. All right? Now, right now I'm not going to because I'm going to have 2 sets of little bubbles there if I do. All right? Like I say, I'm doing this for showing more than actually doing. But if I'm going to do that, I would have left off the bubbles on my bottom here and just attached it there and keep going for as big as this thing's supposed to be. And that is really it. That's how we use cubes for whatever. Wally. And again, you can do whatever you want with these cubes. Literally, you can do a Wally face mask. Already mentioned using for the 4 arms of Bumblebee, just a cube, for that matter, a quick and easy flower vase, and lots of other things. All right, you can build this into anything you want. Think of it as Legos for balloon twisters. Anyway, that is it. As always, thank you for listening, folks. May God bless. Bye now.